Okay, so I have a question. If it's not too much to ask, I need your opinion. I got pink. And then I have red. Ugh, and I know what you're probably thinking. Personally, I'm leaning towards pink. I always do. It's my go-to color. But I've had comments throughout my life suggesting that red suits me just a little bit more.
Perhaps it's the copper strands that are highlighted when the sun decides to lean in and softly kiss my brunette locks. A few would argue my eyelashes shared the same feature. Copper wings that fluttered, revealing a sapphire center. I don't quite remember who made that comment. My acquaintances change quite frequently compared to the average college student. However, I always thought my eyes were too dim to be compared to sapphires.
I would rebuttal that they're closer to aquamarine. Others insisted that the shade complemented my complexion.
Pale skin and flushed cheeks. Although my hue is closer to translucent, I'm rarely flustered. It's always been a rather ambiguous thing, my looks. I've recently turned 23, further combating the common consensus I've gotten these last few years. You look like a minor. Youthful has always been the elegant way I've heard it, mainly coming from the middle-aged mothers and politically correct professors. I wonder when the rest of my features will catch up, if these men will mature at the same rate.
I offer a service to those who want that service. I can't say need, because that would be denouncing other services. Plumbing, computer services, caretaking, etc.
Although, others in the business could be considered caretakers, the selection of hand-on individuals. They tend to be quite a bit older and a tad bit more delusional.
Frankly, we adapt. We get to do less with our physical bodies and more with our virtual ones. Between you and me, the other women, they're forgettable. Even laughable. I mean, look around.
Your eyes won't return empty-handed. The midnight streets of Baltimore, to the suburban sidewalks you've dreamed of strolling down with your children. You'll surely notice them. Prostitution is everywhere. Shamelessly, they come out with what little, tiny bit of respect is left in them and announce, "Do as you please," to the men that have been told that since they were little boys. Personally, I'd never stoop that low.
For starters, I don't have sex with these men. You could not pay me enough. I mean, really. Would you be able to have sex with a complete stranger? And then how about a stranger that's twice your age? Someone that's paying out of pocket for it.
Money inflates their egos and self-worth while simultaneously overlooking yours. They paid up and now you owe them. God forbid you don't perform to their liking.
The category my work falls under is a hands-off, camera-on approach. So, with an eased mind, comes room for creativity.
I spend around 2 hours a day piloting and managing my business, planning my upcoming appointments with my clients. To put it simply, I listen to them and provide what they prefer. I fulfill their fantasies the best I can with the resources I have. Not to mention, this job has its advantages.
Sometimes my clients will even send me gifts. And sometimes I know that these gifts are secretly for them. The content I provide, putting these gifts to use, that's what they pay for.
I've been sent dresses, shoes, jewelry, you name it. On the more daring side, I've been sent toys, collars, cuffs, etc. I've been sent 20-count package of adult diapers, lavender scented. As I mentioned before, we in the business understand. We adapt. Humiliating? Not in the slightest. What could be negative about earning extra money while working towards my degree, my higher education?
So, as I suit up tonight, should I go with my preference or that of my peers? Red or pink? What do you think? I guess it doesn't really matter that much. He'll be satisfied with either.
He's somewhat of a regular. He was a big donor since the beginning, and yet, after all this time, I'm not really sure if he's a fan of red or of pink. I'm certain I know other things he's fond of. The first time he was entered into my chat room was well over a year ago, when I was still a freshman in college.
The first site that I joined, it was called Cherry Bomb. Looking back on it now, with much more experience under my belt, that screams starter up.
It's a tad embarrassing to admit this, but my page radiated amateur back then, as well as my prices.
How can one know their worth if they haven't been told it? Self-worth only pays minimum wage.
I had a friend a year ahead of me. She helped me design my channel persona back then. A cartoon. Anime-esque drawing of myself with aquamarine eyes.
My username is the same one as I have today. Mischievous Mittens. But I usually go by Mitts.
It was sometime early August. I have only had my account for a little over 4 months at this time and barely spent any time on it due to the educational demands and sluggish mental state. I got the casual reach here and there, men typing their sweet little lewds, sending the occasional nude. The interactions would find their endings. With the fall approaching came falling out of this unconventional occupation. Until I met him. His tag was Bulgakov Bar, a name that, at the time, couldn't be further from familiar. Bulgakov Bar's bio read, Bulgakov Bar, 40, United States. Having rolled back down this slope, it went bouncing along the cobblestone of the street. It was her severed head.
Before I even got to read his message, my curiosity was piqued.
I searched his tag, resulting in a web browser congested with Russian texts and pictures of a bar in Krasnoyarsk, named Bulgakov. I was searching for my rationale. Is he Russian? Does he travel? Was he just a fan of this bar? Are cobblestone streets common in Russia? Cobblestone streets. On a whim, I searched the quote from his bio. Immediately, vague questions were vaguely being answered. The first result was Mikhail Bulgakov, the Master and Margarita.
Bulgakov, that had to be it. For as little as this made sense, this was clear.
It wasn't long before I found the quote. The original quote was from the novel The Master and Margarita, which reads, having rolled back down this slope, it went bouncing along the cobblestone of the street. It was the severed head of Berlois. Not her severed head. It was rather strange to find myself being bothered by a modified quote more than the sheer fact that a person like this was on a camgirl site. That he reached out to me. At this point, caught up in my elaborate investigation, I had yet to actually read the message he sent to me. I re-entered my chat room, scrolling to find his message, for it was buried by the typical vulgar visitors. Spotting the image, I clicked. Nothing but a single message.
I wasn't quite sure if it was I who was entertaining him, or if it was to satisfy my own curiosity. Either way, I decided to reply.
I have an offer.
An offer? Bold, for someone who doesn't know what I myself offer. Would you like to hear my services?
I'm not in need of your propositions, but thank you for asking. I have a singular pitch.
Well, you may be on the wrong page then.
Oh? My apologies then. It seems I was mistaken.
Is there anything else you need?
To be looking elsewhere, it would seem.
Good luck finding what you're searching for.
It's rather odd to find such simplicity from an individual on Cherry Bomb. Usually my inbox is congested with catcalling sleuths and presumptuous predators, pushing and pleading for some sort of priced sexual gratification.
I'm curious about something.
Oh? What might that be?
Your bio. It's a quote from The Master and Margarita, right? Your username, too. It's based off the author.
Yes, my dear, it is. Are you a fan of his work?
Nope. I'm not familiar with any of his work. He's Russian, and there is a bar that shares the same name. And you misquoted him.
Pardon?
Why did you change the quote? That quote was written for Belois. I feel as if it was important to Bulgakov to clarify that it was Belois's head.
Yet, you aren't familiar with the text. How can you argue that it is crucial to be clarified? And to clarify, I'm not a fan of Berlois.
Then why use the quote? Why replace it with her?
Well, Mitz, I have no sexual attraction to Berlois. I'm attracted to women.
You wish to sever the heads of women?
Not quite, but seeing that your interest has been piqued, would you like to hear it? My offer?
Our conversation went on into the night. I was consciously avoiding asking him what he desires. Back then, I framed it as being stubborn.
Your preference may be English breakfast, but if you were parched, why wouldn't you hear out the other options? Would you turn down Earl Grey if it was available? It was new to me.
This was way before I got good at this.
Considering the bare minimum, he is paying for it. Yet I'm still the one in control. A fabricated environment. A fantastical story ready to be told. The set lights projecting their judgmental glares. Yet no shame can be highlighted tonight. Copper lashes and copper wire, pre-cut to overlap just a tad when pressing and pushed into my neck.
It's actually been quite some time since I've performed for Bulgakov.
I've allowed myself to heal from last time, although it's not always necessary.
He prefers a bit of lingering bruising.
It's a silly thing, really, how he can tell if the plum blotches are genuine or not. I once thought that my amateur makeup application would sell the delusion.
What a delusional mindset.
Bulgakov in particular. Bulgakov is in favor of the small things, a fan of details. He has paid up, and now I owe him. God forbid I don't perform to his liking. Sure, there have been some hiccups. In what career is there not? No profession is perfect. I've gotten faint. Stars have appeared without an invitation. Oh, and that silly stain, dark maroon that took residency on the carpet.
No beheading will occur tonight. Red or pink. That's as far as my concerns will go.